Hello, folks, and you are tuned into another episode of Listen in 3D. This is episode number 81. I'm your boy Justin, aka Too Tall for You Fool.
And I'm Ray, aka Vandal Society.
And together we are both Team 3D, the host of Listen in 3D, where we discuss, dissect, and debate the music and the albums in the world of hip hop and other genres. Like what you're seeing, like this video, or dislike it, whatever the case may be. Comment and any feedback we definitely do appreciate. Share this around on any social media platform. And most importantly, subscribe. Want to help us out one step further when you do subscribe? Click on that notification bell. That way you know when all our videos and shorts go live. And otherwise, yeah, just a quick reminder we are on podcasting platforms as well, Spotify, Apple Music, the whole shabam. If you want to listen to us on another one, I have the pod link in our YouTube page. All right, so I got a question for you. When I say music and Long Beach, what comes to your mind?
Mainly Snoop Dogg, Warren G, uh, Daz, Nate Dogg, you know, a lot of the West Coast gangster rap, the twins,
Oh, the Twins,
you know,
the Dove Shack, yeah.
yeah,
So
the Dub Shack, yep.
I guess the band that we're talking about today, they also hail from this city. And I think sometimes the city of Long Beach doesn't get enough credit for how many musicians have come out of there. So, and this is one of these episodes where it's going to be other genres that we're doing, ska, punk, rock. So I'm excited to deep dive into this album and this band.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah. This was a good one. You want to explain who we're doing today?
So today we're going to talk about Sublime, their self-titled album Sublime. It was released July 30th, 1996 through MCA Records. It's their third studio album, certified 5 times platinum, peaked at number 17 on the top rock albums and number 13 on Billboard 200. The singles are What I Got, Wrong Way, Doing Time, and Santeria. The music videos are all the singles that were previously mentioned, as well as Garden Grove and Pawn Shop. On this album, there's no guest appearances.
All right. Thank you for that. So, and one thing with the music videos, Garden Grove and Pawn Shop, they put out videos for their 25th anniversary of this album, which were really good videos, and so definitely
Oh
check them
yeah,
out
those are cool.
definitely check them out if you guys get a chance on their YouTube page. I'm always
Yeah,
intrigued when a band or artist puts out a music video from an album that came out years ago. So that's always very
definitely.
cool.
And then to mention too, all of the music videos for the singles on this album, Bradley was already passed away during the time of the filming, so they pretty much like on Santeria, they just used they try to portray it like his spirit or his ghost in the video.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so he wasn't actually physically there to record any of the music videos
Yeah,
that were out for the album, let alone see the album when it was released. He passed away 2 months before the album dropped.
yeah,
So
yeah. Very sad story.
yeah,
He did not see the success of what what it became after he
yeah,
passed away,
definitely.
unfortunately. So let me get into a little bit of their bio. Sublime, they're a ska punk band from Long Beach, California. They blend their music with a combination of ska, punk, and reggae. They were formed in 1988. It consisted of members Bradley Nowell, who is no longer with us, Eric Wilson, and Bud Gaw. I hope I said his last name right. And then Lou
Yeah.
Dog, his Dalmatian. His dog was in the music video for Santa Ria. So they had three studio albums: 40 Ounce to Freedom, which came out in 1992; Robin the Hood, excuse me, which came out in 1994; and this one we're talking about here, Sublime, their self-titled album. So pretty much three band members. Um, After passing away, they did get the band back together with Sublime with Rome. Roman Ramirez became their new frontman. I guess they went with the Sublime name at first, but then over estate issues, I guess they
Yeah, they
just went
couldn't
with
have.
Rome with Sublime with Rome, which I guess I guess
Yeah,
they made it work.
they couldn't be featured on the concert bills as Sublime because of the estate
Hmm.
with Bradley, deceased. So they had to go with with Rome with Sublime and
Yeah.
choose alternate names.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, whatever. I mean, they made it work. And
Yeah,
pretty much one thing with their music, it's definitely like I said before, it's a blend of ska, punk, reggae, and you also have a little bit of hip hop, and they just kind of go all over the place with what they do on
yeah,
this album. So
they're definitely influenced a lot with reggae, and then, um, like you said, a little bit of hip hop
yeah,
as well.
surf music,
But
blues,
yeah,
hardcore
but
punk, dub rock.
yeah, definitely.
Alternative rock, they have a lot of influences. And I was going through some of their influences too, from Bob Marley to the Red Hot Chili Peppers to NWA and Eazy-E, Public Enemy.
Yeah,
They were
definitely.
influenced by just all over the place, and I think that's what really makes their music blend well together. So,
Yeah,
but definitely, it like I said, I believe. Uh, Bradley, he died what 2 months before this album dropped or something like that. So
yeah,
like I said, it's
but
just a shame that he really didn't get to see
yeah,
the band's success. Because the thing is, I don't think they were really that popular outside of California with their first two albums. Correct me if I'm wrong.
yeah, that's correct. They weren't too popular. They created a buzz around the local scene,
Yeah,
around like Orange County and
mm,
of course Long Beach. But yeah, they didn't really become popular until this album dropped.
yeah, because those through MCA, so this was like their first major. So
Right.
well, first and well, I guess they are getting back together based on what I read. I guess they do have a new album in the works. Their new front man is Bradley's son, which is
Oh,
Jacob.
Jacob, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jacob. So yeah, I guess they
yeah,
are making new music. So I mean, we'll see
yeah.
what comes of it. So
From what I heard from Jacob, I listened to him a couple years ago when I was just curious about what his son's up to, because you see him featured on some of the pictures
mm,
of the album and some of the uh, biographies on VH1 when they would put out behind the music. They showed his son briefly a few times, so I was just wondering what he was up to.
hmm
And yeah, he has a good voice, and he takes after his dad pretty much, but in his own style.
yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah, so
pretty.
it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
hearing.
just really cool to see that. They're going to try to keep the legacy going, and with the other band
Yeah.
members as well. So you said you brought something for show and tell, so let's pull them out if you
All right.
got
Well,
them with you.
so I have a second copy of Sublime because my first copy is pretty much scratched up and damaged. I've had that first one for a while, so
hmm
I bought a second one a few years ago. So
A few
I'm
years
taking
ago.
better care of this.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
And for me, I got the vinyl. Um,
nice. Yeah,
I think I had the CD. I'm not sure if I have it now, but I do have the vinyl. Got it at Target. Got it for a
okay.
really good price too. Well, as you can see, the Target hype stickers that they got. So
Yeah, that's one I would pick up. I would pick up the that album from
yeah,
Target.
and I saw it, and I was just like, you know what, I gotta pick this up. It's because I was listening to it not too long before I picked it up from Target. I bumped it one day going to LA. It's
Uh,
just this is just a great album just to just play
yeah,
all the way through. I mean,
it
you,
definitely was a part of the '90s pillar of ska and punk
yeah,
during that time.
yeah, definitely. They definitely elevated it with this one, I feel.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, so let's go into pre-listening thoughts. I mean, where were you when you first heard this band? Did you go to a record store? Do you have some friends that were into them?
It was actually, man, I didn't hear of this band until 2 years after the release of the album. So '98, I was in
Oh
eighth
wow.
grade. Yeah,
Oh wow.
I was in
Okay.
eighth grade, and during that time, um, I grew up in Downey, and we had our little clique of skaters. So we all kind of just started listening to each other's music, or whoever had a portable CD player, they would, we would share the headphones and listen to
Mm,
songs. And yeah, one of the guys was deeply into Sublime, and that's when I started picking up, Sublime, and then I went from there, and then I started listening to all these other bands similar to that, and
okay.
I kind of just grew from that.
All right. All right. Cool. Yeah. I know for me, growing up in San Pedro, it's a pretty diverse community for the most part. So, I
And
mean, yeah,
right
yeah,
next door to Long
yeah, it's
Beach.
right next door to Long Beach, so definitely, the station wasn't on Power 106 all the time when I was, at the YMCA camp that I went to there, so, like so,
Yeah,
definitely Sublime, was on a lot of kids' radars during that time. I heard them,
yeah,
and then, also was around the time I started watching MTV a lot more, and the song "Wrong Way," their single was, blowing up on MTV, so that was on TV, like, literally, like, every hour, so,
that's true. And then
so
yeah, speaking of radio, yeah, during that time, it was played heavily on K Rock, which was
yeah.
the local radio station for LA and Orange County for rock.
Yeah, 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 so it was
Yeah,
definitely on there, so that's how, I, first got familiar with them, so really it was just because I didn't listen to K-Rock much, so really it was just watching their
okay,
music videos, Wrong Way
okay,
and, Santeria, and then, just later on just picking up, peop just meeting up with people who loved the band, you'd be hearing Garden Grove a lot and, just
yeah.
some of the other songs off this one as well, so
Yeah, and then speaking of music videos, to add on to that, I had during that time after I heard the band like in '98,
mhm.
still in eighth grade, I seen the a VHS video at the store with a bunch of their music videos on there, and I remember
Oh,
buying
wow.
it. Yeah, and I bought it, but I don't recall like where I left it. I don't know if it's still at my mom's house. So I text my brother earlier this morning. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna be like, "Hey, can you find it? Can you look for it for me? Because it would be cool to have back in my collection again."
Yeah, you and
You
your
know.
VHS tapes, man.
Yeah. All I need is the VCR now, man. Like,
Uh,
yeah, I used to have one, but
I'm sure you can find one at a local thrift shop or something.
that's
I
true.
know they're still out there.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean that's pretty much how I got into them, and just over the years, just songs would just stay on my playlist, and
Yeah,
just listen
true.
to it, and I mean, like I said, just good band, good overall music. I mean, you can't complain about what they did on this album here. So
Yeah,
all right, so let's move on. The artwork. Um, just says Sublime. I believe it's Bradley, and he had tattoos tatted on the back of his back, so I'm guessing that's him and a tattoo, and just I mean I would have liked to see that sunshine logo that they usually rock with, but I guess they went with
yeah,
that. Pretty good for the most part. I mean, it's different.
yeah, yeah. The artwork is, yeah. I never really found out if that's actually Bradley or not, but because I know, during that time he was really struggling with the heroin
Yeah.
addiction, and yeah, like it was just. I'm looking at the booklet right now, and all the pictures are of the band performing at different shows.
Mm.
And then here's a picture of behind the artwork of him and Jacob.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
nice photo
that's
of
a
them. Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a pretty cool album cover. The illustrations on the back have that real like kind of like a beachy vibe,
Hmm.
Southern California vibe to it.
Yeah. Great California vibes throughout this whole album.
Yeah, definitely.
I also believe that from what I can remember when I started going to the record stores, I think it's the first. I know it wasn't the first, but I think it's the first rock album I can remember that had the parental advisory sticker on it.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
that's
so
true.
like just like visible. I remember even seeing it on the commercials too, like when they were promoting it. It was just like, oh, Sublime, and it's just like you see it in the bottom left hand corner. So,
Yeah, yeah,
all right, so let's get into beats. Um, there are a lot of good beats on here. I'd have to go. Not my favorite songs, but I got to go. I really like Pawn Shop. I thought that was a good beat. I know it
yeah.
did.
That one was pretty good.
Yeah, that they did a cover of of a song. I forget. Let me pull it up real quick. I had it.
Yeah, that pawn
Yeah,
shop
yeah,
track. That one
yeah.
really
War
has like.
Day Round a John Shop. Yeah, by the
Oh, okay,
Wailing
yeah,
Souls. Yeah, it's a cover of that song. But yeah, they did a really good job with that.
yeah. They really kept the reggae vibe on that one right there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then another one, I got to go with the again, not one of my favorite songs, but Garden Grove.
Yeah,
Uh,
that one's my one of my favorites right there.
yeah, yeah,
Garden
it's
Grove.
a love the funky warm
Yeah,
sample that was incorporated into it. You
I
know that
think the way the song starts out really sets the pace for the whole album.
it does. Yeah, I think both the intro and the outro, or the last song
Yeah,
rather, I think they both
that's true.
really set the tones. But yeah, Garden Grove especially is just like one of those. It's like it just hits like like when
Yeah,
you hear a song that's like, all right, this was a good selection to be the first song.
yeah.
It's
This
that
one was
one.
pretty good. It set the tone for the album.
Yeah, so those what were your favorite beats or sounds?
Yeah, my favorite tracks was Garden Grove. I liked Santeria. I also liked April 29th.
Yeah, that was a
Um,
good beat. That was
yeah, that one was cool. Caress Me Down, Doing Time.
yeah.
Those are quite a few of my favorite ones. Pawn Shop, of course.
Yeah, Pawn Shop.
See,
I think yeah, Pawn Shop. Yeah, like I said, very a lot of good beats on here.
yeah.
All right, so let's go into album singles, and let I'll let you. What single do you want to start with?
We could start with let's see. We'll do it in order. We'll do with what I got.
What I got? Okay. So, it's a great song to sing along to. I mean, I always get that vibe of just wanting to sing to this song when whenever I hear it.
Yeah, it does have a catchy tune to it.
Yeah, that
The
definitely
lyrics are pretty
does.
catchy.
Yeah. So, and then I would have to say I think I missed out like on like the big single hype with the song, but one memory I do have of this song is one of my favorite video games. I believe it was Saints Row the Third. Yeah, Saints Row the Third. They play this like at one of the beginning of the game when you're with the boss and Pierce. If you played the game, you know what I'm talking about. But they're just like
Oh, okay.
driving around, and then they're just singing, just singing a song. It's so cool. Like
That's cool.
yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool how they incorporated it into a video game. So
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I've heard the song on I think I've heard it on a movie too before,
mm,
with the Jim Carrey in it, and yeah, it fit the movie pretty good. So
yeah. So
yeah, it's one of those popular songs.
yeah. Lovin' is what I got. Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, so I think it's just easy song to sing along to. All right.
yeah, definitely.
Next one we will go with um I guess we'll go with Santeria. So we'll do that one
Okay.
next.
Yeah,
Um
Santeria, that one was one of my favorites right there.
all
Um,
right.
all the way down to the lyrics, like it was just one of those songs where it was just always good listening to. It had like a cool little story to it behind it, like
Yeah.
it was just one of those songs that stuck out with me. It's still one of my favorites to this day.
Yeah, definitely a good song, good beat, good story behind it. And shout out to the music video. I think it was really cool how they included Lou Dog in it,
Oh yeah,
the band members, and shout out to what's his Tiny Lester Jr.
yeah,
Debo.
yeah,
Debo from the Friday movies was in it, so
yeah,
it
yeah.
was
That's what I always remember too from that music video. And at the end, they all become friends and hang out and ride away together in
yeah,
that
that
video.
was
Yeah,
that was pretty funny
yeah,
how they did that.
yeah.
Yeah, it was, just and then oh yeah, and then Lahaina was in it too. His wife or Troy's wife or
Oh, okay,
widow.
yeah.
Yeah, she was in their video as well. So, but I think of all the music videos from the album, I think it's the one that where you really just get to see the rest of the band members and just
Yeah,
so I thought that was pretty cool. And then just getting thrown out of the window at the bar or whatever. I thought it was pretty cool concept for a music video. So
yeah. It was a little different. It was like a Western theme
yeah,
uh, idea of it, and they had the whole scenery of like the shootout towards the end, but they
Mm.
ended up becoming friends. Yeah,
I
it was a
thought
pretty cool
I
video.
low key thought the dog was gonna bite him in his nuts. That's
Yeah,
what it looked like.
it did. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. When
yeah.
I first seen it, I was like, "Damn, is the dog gonna bite him?"
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking, and I
yeah,
had to, yeah, I just seen it, just doing research for this album, and I was just like, okay, yeah,
yeah,
okay, he doesn't bite, yeah, they became friends, that's right,
yeah. That he starts licking him, and they just become friends, and yeah, everything's good after that.
yeah, everything is pretty handy dandy with that music video,
Yeah.
and then last one we will talk about before we jump into our favorite tracks, Wrong Way.
Oh
So
yeah, wrong way.
this was like the first music video of theirs that I had seen. Music video was kind of it was a little weird. It wasn't bad, but definitely just like a
Yeah,
Cinderella type of girl, I guess, living with
yeah,
brothers and a drunk pops or whatever. So
yeah. It does coincide with
mm,
the lyrics to the song too. It kind
yeah,
of
it does.
goes along with it. Yeah, which we hardly see nowadays. A lot of music videos nowadays are just way opposite of what the song's about
Mm,
sometimes. And, you know,
yes.
so seeing the videos again was just a reminder of when I first seen the videos. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, and it just took me back to that time period when I was just like, just immersed in the whole third wave of ska punk, during
Yeah.
that era.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It was like I said, very good music video. I like how, it music video like goes with the story and yeah, like you were
Yeah,
saying, you don't really see that too much these days, and that's really just any genre, really. I mean, just
yeah,
you don't really see it all that much no more. And but overall, good song. Definitely, definitely has that nice Sublime feel, and I'm happy it's kind of the first song I heard from them because kind of low key kind of got me into them. So
oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I think the one that got me into them was Doing Time and
doing time,
Santeria. Yeah,
Santeria. You can't
yeah,
go wrong
those are
with
the ones.
those.
Yeah,
All right, so we've gone through the singles. Usually, like, I know. Just a reminder. I know it has more than three singles. Usually, if it has more than three singles, we usually try to do the top three. So those were the top three. But we probably will discuss the other single in our favorites section that we're coming up to now. So we'll start with you, Ray. What were your top three favorite tracks?
oh, that was a hard one to narrow down to, but for sure, for sure, it was Garden Grove.
Garden
That was,
Grove.
yeah, I always enjoyed that one. It
Mm,
just, like I said, it set the tone for the whole album. So Garden Grove was one of them. Pawn Shop was another,
Pawn Shop.
and Doing Time was
Doing
one of my
time.
favorites. It just had that real, the Doing Time song always like set like a beach type of tone to it, and it just felt good just cruising around.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we grew up in Southern California, and the beach is like, well, for us now it's, it's a little bit of a drive, but
Yeah.
we were always at the beach, when I was living in Downey. So we would cruise out to the beach and always play Doing Time, and it just fit the scenery real
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Doing time. It's like, yeah, one thing with doing time, it's like you bump that. It seems like a good song to play like when the sun is setting,
Yeah,
like on like a Saturday or Sunday, like your day's over. All right, let's go home. Oh, doing time. Let's
yeah.
play that. Watching the sunset. It's definitely a great song to listen to, like cruising around sunset or maybe just on the beach watching the
Yeah,
sunset or something. That's how I imagine doing time. It's great
yeah,
song.
yeah. It's a good one. There's different variations too of that song due to
Yeah.
sample clearances, so
Mm.
they had to switch up. They had to. The only way they were able to rock with that song was if they added "Summertime" into the lyrics,
Okay.
and yeah, and so the one that was singing the "Summertime" part wasn't Bradley because he had already passed away, and
Mm.
all of these sample issues were coming up after
Okay.
his death. Yeah, so it was their friend Miguel. Though he also produced a lot of their tracks. He was the one saying "Summertime" in that song, and
Okay.
that was the only way they were able to actually let that song right out
All right.
on their album.
That's
Yeah,
an interesting story. I didn't know that. That's good.
yeah,
Thank you for sharing that.
yeah, it was pretty interesting. Yeah, it's one of my favorites right there.
All right. For me, this was pretty tough too. I'll do awesome honorable mentions. Garden Grove, Doing Time, Pawn Shop, Jailhouse, and Seed. Those were definitely some honorable mentions that I want to shout out. My
Could I
favorite.
shout out? Can I
Oh,
shout out real quick?
oh, yeah,
Honorable
yeah.
mention.
Go for it.
I I forgot about this one. April 29th, 1992 was like a one
Oh,
of the favorites of mine. You know, it talks about the LA riots right
mm.
there, and his version of how he participated in the whole riots during that time. You know, like he picked up some free gear, you
Yeah.
know, to help his band out, and then he was just like he realized he needed some furniture for his apartment, so he went back out and snatched up a couch or two, or
Mm.
you know, it was a cool story to hear. I mean, during that time, on the Chronic, going back
Yeah.
to that, they were talking about
Yeah.
a song during the riots. What from their end, and then I felt like
Mm.
this song was like a punk version of his perception on in the riots, like
Yeah.
how he participated in it and everything. So it was one of my favorites as well.
Yeah. All right. All right. Cool. Cool. Well, I was about to get to that. So my favorites. Well, what I got. Just can't go wrong with that song. Very, very good song. And then the other one, Santa Maria. And then the last one, April 29th, 1992. So I guess since you already gave your take, I'll give my take on it.
Yeah. Sorry,
But
man.
no, you're good. You're good. No, well, it's a good song. I think it was, you know, it just showed that the riots affected everyone, not just the hip hop community. For the most part, just
Yeah,
it was going on all over the place, and I do like his story that he went out, got a guitar, got furniture,
yeah,
and just started shouting out all the other cities that were having riots. Long Beach, Paramount.
yeah.
I
At
thought
the
that
end
was
of the
pretty
song, that
cool.
was pretty cool. Yeah, he was dropping different cities
Yeah,
across, starting off in California, and
and
then he
then
started branching
across
out throughout the
countries.
U.S.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I think he did really showed that a lot of people were just pissed off with the situation. It wasn't a black
right.
thing. It wasn't a Latino thing. It was an American thing. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
and
for
that's the
real.
way I look at it too. Definitely a great song. If you want to, just go back to that date and time. The only thing I kind of didn't understand until I read about it was why he said April 26th, 1992. I guess that was a mistake, but then they decided to just go with it, I guess.
Just
And
to go with it. Yeah,
and then I
yeah,
guess after he passed, they wouldn't be able to change it anyway. But
yeah. Yeah, I've always wondered about that too, and I just left it like whatever, like it might have been an error or something, but yeah,
yeah, because I
I
was
never
like, yeah,
understood that
didn't
part.
the riots happen on the 29th? But yeah, yeah. One thing about the riots, I had just moved to the San Pedro area right before it had taken place, so
Oh,
we didn't
okay.
get to experience that like looting or anything. I think they marched the streets a little bit, but my grandparents still lived in the hood. Going back over there to visit them, it was like you go through some parts of Compton and it'd be like, oh man, some of these
Yeah,
the stores were burnt
during
down. So it's like it was kind of sad, really, looking back on it now.
that's true. Yeah, so for me during that time during the riots, I was living in a city called Bell, and it's a little city like outside
Bell,
of kind of near Southgate and Huntington Park area.
yeah, I'm familiar with
Uh,
Bell. Yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I was living there during the riots, but my grandpa, he was working for IBM, and he was
Mm,
pretty much in downtown, and then in some parts of West LA and South LA, whatever needed. He was a computer tech, so he would just help out with computers, and yeah, he had seen quite a few things out there during that time.
all right.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was just a time that was kind of crazy.
yeah, it was very crazy, and even like when you watch video footage, looking back on it now, it's just like, damn, like,
Yeah,
yeah, what happened to it? I mean, it's good to see that a lot of those communities have rebuilt, but that's just during that time, it was, yeah, it's not a good thing to go messing up your community, folks. That's all I want to say. It's good to take a stand, but yeah, so. Yeah, that was one of so yeah, those are my three favorites. What I got, April 29th, 1992, and Santeria. So Very good. All right, and then any least favorite tracks that you want to say or shout out or?
Um, yeah, I wasn't really a fan of Under My Voodoo. I didn't
um,
really care for that track too much. The way
mm,
the guitar riffs were,
yeah,
yeah, I wasn't a fan of it.
yeah, I would have to say that would probably be one on the lower end.
Yeah,
Maybe I try not to skip anything when I play it the thing all the way through, but if I were to skip a track, it'd probably be that one first.
yeah, around that area, that's
Mhm.
where I skip.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'll skip
Yeah.
Under My Voodoo
Mm,
and the Ballad of Johnny. Yeah,
okay.
I'll
Yeah.
skip that. Yeah,
All right. But yeah, I would have to say the first part of the album's great. Like the second part of it is probably like my least favorite. But then like when it ends, carries me down. The What I Got reprise and Doing Time, it finishes off strong. So
yeah,
definitely
for
does finish
sure.
off strong. So album cuts, like we were saying before, the Doing Time remixes. I would have to say, yeah, they did like the Bradley version, and then Wyclef Jean did a remix, and then there was another remix by Martial Arts featuring the Far Side, and then of course the album version. I believe it was, according to this, it was on the original unaltered vocal was released in 2006 on the deluxe edition of the band's self-titled album Sublime, as well as the two disc 180-gram vinyl Back to Black 60th vinyl anniversary edition. The deluxe edition also includes 5 remixes of Doing Time and the original music video. So so 2006, I'm guessing it was for the 10-year anniversary of the album. So
Oh, okay.
I think so.
And the most recent version was in 2019 from Lana Del Rey. She redid the Doing Time song.
Oh yeah, yeah, I see that
And
there
that
too.
one was pretty cool. Like I actually, I never really listened to her, but when I heard that, I was like, okay, it sounds pretty good.
For
Yeah,
sure,
she did a good job.
I gotta check that out. So
Yeah, the
so
video's cool too. Like it's
So
pretty
yeah,
cool.
those were like the only like expansion slash cuts I would see from the album. I know they haven't like officially ever reissued it. So correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see anything. So, but yeah, the Doing Time
Yeah,
remixes I thought was worth mentioning.
yeah.
All right. So for recommendations, I know you have your list. Here's what I came up with.
Okay.
Less Than Jake, Losing Streak. I know they were popular during that time. And then the more popular ones that people may be familiar with, the Mighty Mighty Boss Stones. A lot of
Yep.
people consider them one-hit wonders. I don't. They were in the movie Clueless, so you got to give them a shout out.
Yeah.
Let's face it, that's a very good one. Yeah, and then No Doubt, Tragic Kingdom, probably the best
Yeah.
album during that time. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
that right there.
That was a good one right there.
Yeah, that's a good
Definitely a
one.
must have.
And then another one I came up with was the Long Beach Dub All Stars. That was the band that the surviving members created after Bradley's passing. They came out with an album in 1999 called Right Back. So those were the
Right.
only ones. I'm sure there's a lot more I could have gone through. Ray, did you have any other recommendations you wanted to share?
Yeah, I think during that time, when ska and punk, the third wave ska revival was pretty big during that time. And the other recommendations I had was a Rancid album.
Rancid. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, they're
yeah, and
good.
Out Come the Wolves. That one's a good one right here. That's a classic. Um, that one came out in '95. This one came out the same year as Sublime. Goldfinger came out in
Goldfinger. Yes,
'96.
I saw them when I was doing some research on them. They came up a few times.
Yeah, that one was good. And then this one came out in '97. They were also from Orange County, called Safe Ferris.
I
It
think.
was more ska, less punk with more ska on it,
Okay.
more horns, more trumpets. And then yeah, I think if you know, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself right here, but you know, if you like the Sublime self-titled album, I think 40 Ounces to Freedom is also a good one to pick up,
Mm.
which came out in '92.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I always, when we always do recommendations, I always recommend the whole catalog of the artists we're talking about. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, definitely from that album, definitely Smoke Two Joints or whatever. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that was a good
Yeah.
one. And then another song I wanted to shout out. It was on the Robin the Hood album, the Cisco Kid. That's a song
Oh,
that was
okay.
in my
Yeah.
rotation for a little while. So I like how
Yeah,
they
that one's a good one.
sampled like the Cisco Kid show and That
Yeah,
was pretty cool. All
yeah.
right. So anyway, before we put this episode to bed, any final thoughts? Anything you would like to say about this album?
It's definitely an album that's carries through the decades. It's a classic album, and it holds its place in time in the music. And I just recommend checking it out as well as their whole catalog because they have a lot of good cuts on there, and they may not have that many singles as a collective, but they have a good amount to check out. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, I would definitely say definitely give this band a check it out if you want. Yeah, definitely start with this one, and then if you like this, definitely go back check out their previous two albums as well. They have a lot of good stuff. Like you said,
yeah,
maybe they weren't necessarily big during that time, but I think especially with the success of this album, they've gotten way bigger than anyone could have ever possibly imagined. So I mean, definitely big ups to them. So
yeah,
very good
and
album, great music.
with summer coming up and you got some barbecues coming up or days at the beach, this is one of those songs where you want to add on your playlist and play it at the
Right.
barbecue or at the beach hanging out.
Yeah,
This is one of
definitely.
those songs.
Yeah, definitely doing time is
Little
definitely going to be
background,
on.
yeah,
Doing time is definitely going to be on my playlist this summer. That's for sure.
yeah, for sure, yeah.
All right, put this one to bed. Any memories or tracks that you had from this album that you like? Let us know in the comments down below. For Ray, aka Vandal Society, I'm Justin. Too tall for you, fool. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you all on the next one. Late.